Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Empires and Puzzles, another exciting video for a Monday morning. This time I thought I was going to have the morning off, but it turned out there's a brand new Wilderness Summon, and with it comes a new Wildcat. So we are going to take a look at this character by the name of Vernix. I might be wrong, but I think Vernex right here, hold on, I just got to check this out. I think Vernix's art here might be very similar to another Wildcat that they released, unless I'm crazy. Oh, are we not going to see it in this portal? Okay, anyway, whatever, we'll go back to Vernex, but it looks a lot like the blue Wildcat they released at the very beginning of this. Anyway, long story short, same blue cloak, same white outline. I think probably similar stance. Perhaps they're related or part of the same clan or whatever you want. Anyway, moving on. Vernex. So Vernex is going to be the wizard class. We also have a family bonus and a reminder of what we get for the Wildcat family bonus. For 1, 2, or 3 heroes, they get a 5, 10, or 15% chance to dodge special skills. Then each special skill dodge damages the attacker for 100, 200, or 300 damage, depending on the number that you have. It's not a particularly strong passive, especially because you need to get 3 Wildcats to get to that 15% dodge, and that's just a passive on the moths. So I don't know, I've always thought this to be a little bit on the weak side for family bonuses, but still interesting. Next up, we've got passives of 9 lives. When this character is defeated, there's an 80% chance to revive at the beginning of the next turn, with 50% health and 80% mana. Activates up to 9 times. Chance to revive is reduced with each activation. Can't be prevented with status ailments or passive skills. So it's kind of fun. It's a way to ensure that they're not as easy to kill off. Usually tends to make them lower priority kill targets because you don't know if they actually stay dead. Then we also have Trait Lith Frame under their passives. This is a very interesting ability that more or less says that you cannot affect this character's defense rating. You can't buff it, you can't debuff it, it just exists where it is. And that's interesting, but I just don't know if it's the coolest thing out there. There's a lot of defense up people, but I do like that they can't get defense down, so it's a very pro and con passive, but not the worst thing in the world. In the Aether department, we do have the increased healing. For the first 5 turns, first 6 turns, this character gets plus 50% healing from all sources. I mean, honestly, it's fine. It's just not a particularly exciting ability. For the first 6 turns, you may not see any healing, but maybe it could be useful at times. All right, moving on. Down here in our specialist department, we get Ice Shatterer. Activated at fast speed, it says, this looks like a conditional thing. If any enemy has the Frost status ailment, deals 310% damage to all enemies. Reduces the mana of all enemies by 5%. All enemies receive 2360 Frost damage over 5 turns. Interesting. Then otherwise, assuming no one has Frost damage at all, it will deal 260% damage to all enemies. All enemies receive 1845 Frost damage over 5 turns. Okay. So let's get into it. What is the pros? What's the cons of this character? What are they all about? Well, clearly, this is a Frost Clan kitty, or whatever you want to call it. She is going to pair well and synergize well with additional Frost. Now, there's not a ton of Frost characters out there, but the Untold 2 family did have a Frost family, which will constantly activate with their core, right? So you could easily pair this character with someone like Safafa, who they released at very fast, right? So they're both blue. In theory, with blue tiles, you could charge up Safafa, use her ability at very fast before this character. You'll have the Frost core up on everyone, and then if you can follow up the next turn with more blue tiles and get this character off as well, then you're going to be maximizing this character's potential with Frost damage already up on the enemies, that kind of thing. So that's just one example of how this character can synergize and get Frost damage from other characters and max out. But assuming you don't get Frost damage from other characters, she will put up her own Frost damage. It's just then you have to wait for her special to come back up and hopefully cast it before the 5 turns have elapsed. Still a very interesting character. Reasonable damage for a fast hit all. Great damage if they already had Frost damage. The 5% reduction in mana is, fine. I don't know if 5 moves the needle that much, but it can help, right? You gotta understand, if they have timed their mana perfectly so that it receives just the right number of tiles, reducing that by 5% could, in theory, throw off the calculations that they made very carefully. So you can do some things with that 5% mana reduction that makes it valuable, but it's definitely not the highlight of this character's special. 2360 Frost damage over 5 turns is a pretty significant amount. You're looking at 470-ish a turn. So that's also not bad. And that's at the max ability. If you don't have Frost up at that point, you're looking at what? 300, like 370-ish without the Frost damage on there. So where do we rate this guy? Like a scale of 1 to 10, remember 7's being average. 10 I pretty much never give because that means a character is perfect. And most of the time in this game, they don't create perfect characters. There's usually pretty good counters. So with that in mind, this character's coming in probably at a 7. I think that might sound a little bit harsh, but I'll put my reasoning here. It's a good character. 7 being an average for a new release means they're better than most of the characters that have been released previously, so keep that in mind. Does a fast hit all, does a dot. We've seen lots of those though, right? This is not dissimilar to other fast hit alls. They usually hit all for like the 250 to 280 range. They usually leave a dot behind, and that's what this character does with their normal special. But if they have frost damage on there, she, I don't know, anyway, they are going to do a little bit more. And I think that's a cool caveat for building team synergy. But also I want to point out that when you exist in this world of Frost, and yes, you can build team synergy with like Untold 2 characters, you also face a specific weakness against Untold 2 characters on the opposing team of the Frost family as well, which would end up being empowered by these Frost attacks. So that's why I'm saying it's probably a 7, because in reality, something like this, I usually try to consider putting a type of damage in that there aren't a significantly large amount of counters to. So fire damage for that reason tends to be one of my least favorite effects because there are so many characters that have caveats against fire, right? And same thing here. Now that Untold 2 has released a ton of Frost characters, it makes it very easy if you want to use this character for defense or something like that for your opposing team to reach into their roster, pull out one of their Untold 2 Frost heroes, put them in a team against these guys, and instead of them doing damage, they're manning up and boosting the health of any of those characters. So yes, I do like this character. I do think she's a perfectly good character. The 9 lives will serve you well. In fact, the 9 lives might be the saving grace for this character because every time they die, if they come back with 80% mana. It's going to let you chain cast some of these fast specials pretty quickly. And that is cool because that's probably like a hack to getting to that second cast. So if you don't pair her with any other frost damage, right, but you put her in, like, let's say your tank position, all right, so they attack her, she probably gets her special off, bam, they're all hit with this frost dot. And then she's in the tank spot, so she takes more tile damage that kill her off, right? It's like, oh, okay, well, she's dead. But if she pops back up, she then has 80% mana. You didn't have to match tiles to get there. She just gains that 80% due to her passive. So that's where I think she's probably going to shine the most, is the fact that she can speed up her mana recovery by specifically putting her in a position to die. Now, yes, you do end up risking the fact that she might not come back, or he might not come back. I'm sorry, I really don't know. Looks kind of she-ish. Anyway, they may not come back after each death. That is a reality. So just know that you're taking that chance. But if they do, you're speeding up the mana recovery process. You're blasting out these attacks at a faster speed. And I think that's where the real value of this character comes in. But again, this is going to only be against characters that either, one, don't reflect, don't resist, as in like Toons, don't empower frost resist like Untold 2s. So just know there are plenty of counters to this particular character as well out there. But that's it. I still think it's a cool character. I'm still giving him a 7 out of 10. So may not be the one worth chasing, but if you get him, congratulations. Please level him up. They will help your roster. Okay, have a wonderful morning, everyone. We'll catch you next time.